the picture.
You alright?
Now we better let him rest while the picture's going on.
Baby's put his poochies.
Jody, turn him off.
I don't
can't. Yeah. There.
How did you do that?
Well, it's a special surprise.
There must be an on-off switch there somewhere.
Yeah. See? That's it. See, we'll set him up pretty so he can have his picture taken. What, honey?
The movies are working away.
Now, stories for you to have on tape.
Yes.
I think Sherry,
I growing up.
No, I like Sherry's story of her day in the kitchen
Oh, I
with
tell
all the
you.
company.
You know what?
When I burned up the...
Oh, yes, I think that's the best one. That's got everybody beat. The Osborns, McLean's, anybody else. That's got them all beat.
We told everybody about that.
Aww, heard about nobody's laying the kitchen on fire.
We think that was the best. We think that's
Oh, I like
the
your
best.
solution to the end much better.
Yeah, Judy liked that.
Yeah, I think all men should
to
have.
clean up his night, save chips and Coke while he cleaned up the
Right. I think that all husbands should have to do that.
Think of Mark, don't stop anymore.
I don't know what.
Remember when Thanksgiving, we had two sets of company coming the first time we were in the house?
Well, you did
I
the
set the
cooking.
kitchen on fire.
You did the cooking.
I did the
didn't you,
cooking
honey?
with a vengeance.
Well, if you did the cooking, he should be able to do the cleaning.
Well, it always has been that way at our house. When people come to our house to dinner, the men go in the kitchen and clean up, and the ladies go in the living room and sit.
I think that's real nice.
I do too. The first time a family will come,
Donna,
the
we
gentlemen
were
look real
very
confused. And then they just sort of, well, the others went out in the kitchen, so they just sort of go out in the kitchen, and then I'll clean up.
I would like for Ruth to tell us some stories of the family that I think would be interesting to record. When the Osborns were small, okay, if that was ever possible.
Oh, I can tell you a good one.
Okay.
My mother was very ill, so Bob and Norman, my aunt took Bob and Norman to Erie, Pennsylvania to stay with her. And they were, Bob and Norman were out playing. My aunt had kind of a small summer shed, you know. And so they were out there playing. Pretty soon, Norman came in just crying like his heart would break. Bob was laughing fit to kill. And my aunt said, Norman, what's the matter? And Norman was crying so hard he couldn't answer. And Bob was laughing so hard, but he finally got out. We were playing Maggie and Jigs, and I was Maggie, and I hit him over the head.
You remember the old cartoons, yeah.
Yeah. What was the one about Norm shooting the radiator out of his car? Was that?
Now that I don't know.
Was there one about the cat being on the radiator of the car and he tried to shoot
Went
the
to
cat?
shoot the cat and blew out the carburetor of the car, the radiator, whatever thing is in the front.
Now that I didn't know.
That was just a tale.
That never happened.
Really?
No.
You mean Norman's like his dad?
Can you imagine Norman with a gun in his hand?
No. Well, now he did have a gun. He gave it to him.
But not since I've known him.
No. No, when he was a boy, he liked to hunt. And Bob liked to trap. I don't know, he just got interested in it. So Newt gave Norman one Christmas, we gave him a
hair puller ears, tail ring.
would it be a 16 gauge shotgun, single shotgun, and we gave Bob a set of traps. But Norman gave us that gun back years ago. I guess he was afraid his boys would get interested or something. But he.
Do you have any of the photographs of any of the members of the family when they were younger?
Well, now I tried to give your mother all of Norman's.
I bet we have got all that. We parceled a lot of them out.
Now what we have, I have some looks of them like Bob has. I think I can find them. But okay, this is my baby picture, and this
one
is
is yours
too.
again?
This is my mother, and this is my picture, and this is Don's. We were in a studio, and here's I'm in the middle, and that's Peggy, and that's Don.
Nat, quit. You give me that.
This is my uncle, and they were trying to get his picture. This is my mother. This is me, and this is Don, and he was crying. They were trying to get him to keep still so they could take his picture. My uncle's threatening to hit him with a pillow. This is my Uncle Ben, and my mother. That was just a friend of hers. That's Peggy, and that's Don. That's Peggy. That's when we lived in Hamilton. Now that's Peggy and Don, and you can just see me with a bow on my hair. And that was my aunt sitting in the back. This is my mother. This was about the time she got married. And this is another picture of my mother. I remember that dress even. That was a pongee silk dress. And she still had it when I was a little girl. This is my Uncle Ben. And that was my Aunt Mabel. That was my Uncle Hunter's wife, Aunt Dora. And this is my mother. They were dressed up in men's clothes.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
They had a wonderful time. And my head's cut off in this one. Look at the shoes I have on. Yeah, with a patent leather. No, patent leather with the straps across and then high. And Mother's holding, that's Peggy. Guess who? That's me. And that's Uncle Ben. That's Lily. You've heard us speak of Lily?
Yeah, she's the one that gave me the necklace with the elephants and the little red bees.
Yeah, and she lived right next door to my mother. See, this one we lived in the cottage next door, and that's Lily and my mother and me. See the shoes?
Those are something.
Isn't that something? Now here we are again, and I have one of those little telephones. They had little glass telephones with a whole lot of little tiny candies in them. You could buy, you know, little cars and everything.
Well, now they're not glass, they're plastic and all different.
Now that's Helen. That's my mother's niece holding Peggy. And this is Lily holding Peggy. And that's me again.
Well, I like a Irish.
That's Uncle Ben and Don.
Now, just exploring a little bit.
This is Uncle Ben and Peggy.
Bring your toy.
And that's my dad. Now,
You brought your toy.
now there he looks like Norman.
You know not to touch anybody
Except,
else.
see, Daddy had more hair there.
Bend it back just a little bit towards you. I'm just a second. I'm going to see if I can focus on that. There we go. Okay. Now, which one's your father again?
Here,
Uh-huh.
on the bottom. I'm on top of him. Don's on top of me, and Peggy's over here.
For goodness sake.
Mother's holding her up.
Talk out here.
That's my Aunt Margaret holding Peggy.
For goodness sake.
That's my Aunt Mabel. And that's Uncle Ben holding Peggy. Here we're taking a bath in the tub. That's the way we went swimming. We had those round wash tubs, and you filled them with water, and it's fun. Now this is good of us too. But that's a whole bunch of people, and I know that's me. But I'm
Which
not.
one is you in the picture?
Right here.
For goodness sakes.
Yeah, right there. Now the others, I can't tell. No, that's Don. That's Don. Those are the only two I know.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Here I am with my parasol. And that's a mother, and that's Daddy. That was on the back porch in Hamilton. And that's me. That's Daddy. With his bare feet.
Oh, my.
Now, we went swimming up the river, see? And this is on the Miami River. And we go up there, and there was an island, and it was shallow water. But this is the kind of bathing suits we wore. What do you think of those bathing suits?
My goodness.
That's my Aunt Mabel, that's my mother, and that's me. My aunt had stuffed a whole lot of sand in her bathing suit and she was showing off. Here's Daddy holding Mother upside down, and that's me. That's Daddy. That's me. And I think that's Peggy. And here's Mother with two of her friends. Here we were swimming up the Miami River. That's Don.
Let her have it.
That's me. That's Daddy. That's Uncle Hunter. That's my mother. That's Peggy. You know, it's been a long time since I really looked at these pictures. There we are again up the river. Here we are in the river. We used to take a horse. We used to rent every Sunday, my mother would take a picnic lunch. And we rent a horse and buggy. And then all my Uncle Ben's family, they had two children. They didn't have Albert then. And my mother had all but Norman. Bob was a baby. And we rented a horse and carriage, and the whole bunch of us would get in that one horse and buggy and go up the river with these picnic baskets. That's Don. This is Bob. Here we were at the zoo. That's Peggy, that's me, and that's Don. He's holding up something, I can't tell what it is. He's got something there.
Fish, it looks like.
No. It does look like a fish, doesn't it? I guess it is a fish. It was at the zoo, and he must have got one of those artificial. Here's Don showing off.
What's he doing there?
My mother was taking his picture, and he was being funny.
Let's see. I didn't get a
Where's the fish?
See him holding his mouth?
Yeah.
And I'm over here. And that's Helen, my cousin, and that's Mother. This is Mother, and this is me. This is me, this is Bob. This is me, and that's Peggy. And that's Mother, and that's Bob, and that's Norman. That's when Norman was a baby.
Which one is Norman on the picture?
Right here. This is when we were married.
That's the puppy's frog.
Which one is that? You? Which picture is you when you were married with Newt?
With Newt, This was just before we were married. And this is, we were married in this one. Let's see. This is Peggy, and that's David Coleman. That's his father and mother. And I don't know who that is. That's his brother. And his sister. No, that's his brother-in-law, and that's his sister. And there's Mother, and there's Daddy. Yeah, oh, I tell you, Norman's a spitting image of Dad. He really is.
You said he was a pretty good little boy when he was small.
He was perfect. He did not any one time ever cause any kind of trouble. And Bob was a perfect little devil. One time Bob got out, we heard all the horns blowing. When my mother wondered what in the world happened, she went out, and here in the middle of the street, Bob was standing right in the middle. There was a taxi cab trying to get past him. Every time the taxi moved, he moved. He wasn't going to let that taxi get past. My mother had to finally go out and get him. She was so mad. So then she tied him with a rope to the post of the front porch. And next door to us was a couple who had or not a couple, she was a widow, and she had just this one boy. And so this boy cut the rope and let Bob loose. My mother was so mad, she went over there, she picked him up, she turned him over, and she spanked him as hard as she could. Now, he had a mother who never spanked him. And she came out, and Mother just turned to her and told her what he had done. And his mother never said a word. And believe me, he never cut any more ropes either. My mother never said a word. She just picked him up, turned him over, and spanked him good on his bottom.
Was it a dog or?
No, it was your Uncle Bob.
You mean she tied him to a rope?
Well,
Yeah,
honey,
he wouldn't be
he
good.
ran away. He kept running away. She couldn't let him out. He ran away. One time, they were trying to find him, and you know what he had done? My father had gone hunting, and he'd gone fishing, I guess, and Bob wanted to go with him, and they wouldn't let him. My dad and another man went. And you know, pretty soon here comes a boy. We'd hunted all over for him, couldn't find him. Here came two boys, two big boys, with this little boy, my brother Bob, bringing him home. They found him up by the bridge. You know that bridge that goes over, I don't know whether it's still there. It used to go over by Post Town. He had got that far, and they found him. He couldn't tell him his name or where he couldn't tell him his name or where he lived, but he could bring him right back home. He brought them, came home. My brother was something. That's Peggy.
No, honey, you can't have the puppy. Stop.
This is when we went to Erie, Pennsylvania. This is my mother's
Can you hold it
folks.
up, Bruce?
Yeah. This is my mother's folks. This is my Aunt Mary's two daughters, Mern and Grace.
Now she's gonna go get it.
Yeah.
I hear that Norm had many stories about that mule of his.
Oh, that mule knew the awfulest language you ever heard. He never swear a word there was. Everybody said this was when Norman was plowing. He simply gave that mule an education.
I hear he learned all his words from that mule.
Pardon?
I hear he learned all his language from that mule.
He surely did. He learned it from taking it around. Oh, we had to laugh.
No, Margie, no.
This is Erie, Pennsylvania. That's where my mother's folks. This is my uncle who was drowned at sea on New Year's Eve.
When was that?
Here, Margie.
Oh, an awful long time ago. I can't remember. I have the date. It was when I was real young.
Huh.
But,
Let me see. What had happened?
well, it was right after the First World War, and he was on a minesweeper. And they were clearing off the coast off New Jersey, clearing the mines away from the coast. And there was a storm that night. And the next morning, he wasn't on the ship, on board the ship or whatever you call him. It was a minesweeper. But they found a quart of his bathrobe that he had used to tie the engine room door shut so it wouldn't keep banging open, in the storm. So evidently he was washed overboard. Well, they searched for him for, days and days. But they never found him. But he was over in China during the Boxer Rebellion. He was,
I'll get it, Mom.
okay.
That's serious.
Huh?
Oh, somebody rings and hangs up. That just makes me so mad.
Well, I don't know. There's been a lot of that lately. This is my Uncle Hunter, and that's my Uncle Lloyd, and that's his son, Lloyd. This is my mother and my Aunt Dora. They're just relatives. These are later pictures, though. I don't have the early ones. And here I have one of Don.
What's Don?
That's Don.
How old would he have been there?
I don't know how old he was there, about 12, I think. And this was the year I graduated at Miami. I was 20.
Oh, boy. And then you went from there to teaching, right?
Uh-huh. See, you only had to have 2 years. See, it was to teach grade school. Now, you couldn't teach high school, but you could teach grade school with 2 years.
Did you go right to the one-room school then?
Mm-mm. No, I taught in town for 4 years, but when I was married, see, that was during the heart of the Depression, if you got, it was in your contract. If you got married, then you automatically gave up your job. And so this position was open out in Potown Heights, where my mother lived. So I asked for it and got it, teaching all 8 grades in a one-room country school. I had kids from 6 to 16. I think 16 was the oldest one in the 8th grade.
About how many kids?
I had 60 at one time. That was the most
60?
I had, 60.
Lord.
So they took a few away then, because they felt like it was too many.
Carrie,
Yeah.
that's not any worse than what I had over at the other place I worked. I had 60 patients, and I was the only nurse, and I had 1 to 2 aides all night long for 12 hours, and they were all alert and oriented and running up and down all night long.
Oh,
We
boy.
stayed in bed. So, I mean, you know, it was like 60 kids running around.
That's her picture.
Wasn't that when you had Daddy and Uncle Bob were in
Yes.
one-room school with you?
All right, and Newt's sister Bernice.
Oh,
I was a glutton for punishment. She was going to school down in Kentucky, and you had to go up the creek, and when the creek got up, you couldn't get to school.
okay.
So I brought her home to stay with me for 1 year, and I taught her that 1 year she had missed and put her ahead 1 year, see, so she could partway
Get you
catch
catch
up.
up, yeah.
And so I had her that whole year. I had Bob for 1 year. He was in 6th grade when I first went out there. And I had Norman for 3 years because he was in the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, you were a glutton for punishment.
That's a rotten age to deal with people anyway, much less a brother.
I'll never forget one time that Bob, he was the honoriest when in the family. He
Still is.
He brought in a fish worm, and brought it in. We had a pot-bellied stove right in the middle of the room. When the kids got too hot in the middle of the room, they just switched seats with children that were around the windows, That was, you allowed that because so you could get cooled off. And, wait a minute, honey. Let me get this a minute.
John, here she comes.
Sometimes they slip. There.
There's a picture in there, Ruth, that I think
Wait,
is
let's
really
finish talking
nice.
about Bob being
Yeah.
ornery.
What was that?
You were talking about Bob being ornery in the one-room school, about how he was down
Oh,
with
so he comes in with his fish worm, puts it on this hot stove. You know what it did? It fried right now.
Oh, yes. Woo.
Then one time they put a mouse in the drawer of my desk. Now, I don't know whether he did that or not, but somebody did. And they had loosened,
9 chances out of 10 it was him.
they thought I'd scream when I opened the drawer, but I never was afraid of mice. And that failed.
But you haven't seen what worms did to her.
Oh, yeah, the worms is different. I couldn't take
Yeah,
that.
Daddy got me to put a worm in her bed one time. Right in her clean
no.
sheets.
So I made her remove it, and then I threw those sheets in the wash. No way was I going to use them.
There is a picture that Nat's looking at. The one I think is nice is the one of your mother and father. They're standing together. I think one of the. It's in the very beginning. Where they are.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Now that's Dad and Mother. Murray took that years ago. I think. My mother probably had been married about 20 years. But I think that's a marvelous picture, both of them.
That's the one Mom and
About
Dad had.
25 years.
Stuff like that.
Because I remember that. I remember that dress she had. It had black velvet and
What were they like? What were they like?
Who? My mother and Dad? My mother was always full of fun. And my dad was quick-tempered, but he was an awful lot of fun and great entertainment of people. One time we had some people there had dropped in unexpectedly, and my dad was upstairs taking a nap. And he heard these people downstairs. So after bed, he comes down. He's all dressed up in my mother's clothes. Now, my mother was all bigger than he was. He had done things to me. to make himself look big. He just looked too silly for words.
That's
Didn't know
worse
who
than
was
Dad
down
took
there.
Mom through the house with ice cubes the day I came home with a friend. I don't think she ever came home with me again. Thought they were nuts.
Well, he didn't know who was down there until he got down there. But he didn't care. Now, this is my dad's brother. That's Uncle Ben and Aunt Mabel. And this is my dad's older brother. See, he was the oldest and Dad was the next to the oldest. That's Uncle Hunter and Aunt Dora.
Now, Hunter's a name you don't hear much anymore.
That's our wedding picture.
Hold it up a little bit.
And these are our wedding pictures.
Let's see if I can get a close up of that.
That's not very, it's a little bit fuzzy. But see how much how much Norman looks, how much your dad I never saw anything like it.
Wait.
That's Bob and Florence in their wedding picture.
Let me see it.
That's Bob and Florence. And that's their wedding picture. And this is your dad and mother's wedding picture.
Charlotte, don't kill your mother.
Remember, Donna, your stocking's falling down?
I never remember the paper. I have the article where it was
Read it. What's the matter?
Oh,
Was it this man that...
you had one nap, but I guess that's not enough.
Yes, that's my Uncle Donald. That's the one that your Uncle Donald was named after. That's my Uncle Donald. Now,
This is very...
now,
John's
honey.
still running.